have morning program and also evening aarti. But somehow, like another important component as per Srila Prabhupada's order, right? In each and every center, there should be also evening Bhagavad Gita discussions. That was really missing, and we were really waiting for that. We're waiting for the instrument to trigger us to get it started. And, yes, this book of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes in this preface and in the introduction, how important is this book? Yes, it's not only in terms of the biggest size of Bhagavad Gita that we have set up in our Delhi temple, or the number of commentaries that is there all over the world, or like our prominent acharyas like Sripad Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Sridhar Swami, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, all these devotees, they have given so much of commentaries to it. And we have distributed so many books of Bhagavad Gita, right? Yes, thanks to Srila Prabhupada's inspiration, like more than 500 million books have been distributed. And specifically, I think there is some statistics that I guess around 30 million Bhagavad Gitas have been distributed. Yes, the volume speaks of the importance of this book. But most importantly, we can see the transformation it has brought all over the world. Like yes, it is the purity is the force. The Srila Prabhupada's compassion, Srila Prabhupada's desire and to spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world has really manifested so nicely. And we see that when Srila Prabhupada even, he was a Grihastha, he had written a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. It was a really big manuscript he had written. And then, somehow with the arrangement of the supreme energies of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada's wife, he sold it, for tea. And yes, of course, Prabhupada was not deterred about so many challenges or obstacles, or because yes, for us it is very difficult to sustain this process of devotional service when there are some obstacles or some challenges. But Srila Prabhupada, not only has given this book, but also he has shown how to live this life of Bhagavad Gita. Because once devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, how can we please you? Prabhupada said, just love Krishna. How do you love Krishna? Like, especially, the children, they say that, Papa, I love you, Mommy, I love you, Pai love you, Pai love you. But then Papa or Mama, when they are not okay, health-wise, they are not well, and they say the children, Beta, can you just go and bring some medicine? But Gauranga says, yes, I will do it. Of course, Gauranga is they say, Papa, I have a meeting, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. The Srila Prabhupada says that when you are saying, I love you, means it has to be, best followed, or best acted, through your action. Right? Like, if you really love, you have to follow his instruction. So here, once we say that, yes, Srila Prabhupada has given us that you love Krishna, and our, the essence of all the Vedas is Sambandha, Avideya and Prayojan. Prayojan is to love Krishna, and to get this supreme love of Godhead. And how do you get the love of Godhead? You have to follow first Krishna's instruction. Right? And this words really coming from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. And not only that, right? This has been coming in this parampara, and it has become more and more sweeter because it is being tested by so many acharyas. We hear this example of Sukha, when this fruit is tested by the parrot, it becomes sweeter. Similarly, we see that how, because it is touched by all these acharyas, with so much of their heartfelt commentaries and their realizations, it is so sweet. It is so sweet like nectar. But unfortunately, like we hear that how our mind, our consciousness is so much polluted that we don't have taste to read Bhagavad Gita, to hear Bhagavad Gita. But it is possible when the devotees push us, the devotees create that facility for us. And the nature of this material world is like that. To degrade, nature of material world is to fall down. Right? That's whatever you bring it up, it will fall down. The nature of consciousness is also like that. So we cannot keep it steady, or we cannot forget about increasing. And for that we need to put a lot of effort, and that lot of effort is our daily sadhana, our daily swadhyaya, and daily hearing and chanting. Because whoever we are, right, the material world, everything around us, has so much of negative energy. That's why Srila Prabhupada compares this to like swimming upstream in the river. If you want to stay steady also in one place, you have to put a lot of effort. And forget about why you want to really increase and you want to really go back to Godhead. You have to really put a lot of effort. It's not easy. But this process is simple but not easy. And this process is gradual. And once we really come together and do something, right, it becomes easier. And yes, I was also remembering, how like every step of Prabhupada, how the Lord guided him, right? And at the same time, he had to go through so much challenges, right? Either how the manuscript, got out of his house, he was not disturbed, and then yes, about how he left his house, how he was bereft of his factory, his and all the opulence what he had, or even while he took the Banprastha ashram, or while he took the sannyas, right? Like how he was setting up this center in Ranchi, how he was planning to distribute books by putting so much of effort in writing those books, right? Or like even going to America, following the instruction of spiritual master, right? Sometimes we might think that okay, right? I'm doing what has been told to me by my spiritual master, or what has been told to me by our seniors. Then why there are so much problems? Why there are so much difficulties? Because I'm doing God's work. Then there are two things are involved there. The first thing is that Lord wants to show that, right? Lord wants to glorify the devotee. That how, in spite of these challenges and the obstacles, how he is dhruva, how he is determined. And that's what this Bhagavad Gita is all talking about. There are dvandas, there are dualities, there are this like happiness and sorrow, and winter and summer, mana and apamana, jaya and ajaya, right? That is always there. But then how? We have to be equanimous, how to, that samatvam is there, and how we are really moving forward to achieve our goal. And yes, when Srila Prabhupada came to America, and then he was also trying to set up, how much struggle he had to go through. And then, of course, he was really taking help of the initial disciples, right, to start a center humbly, right, and then he saw that like, wherever he wanted to go, he wanted to speak something, he wanted to have a Bhagavad Gita, and then he was taking some other commentators in a Bhagavad Gita, and he saw that how things were distorted. So Prabhupada says that how unfortunate these commentators analysis is that they are talking about this Kurukshetra as a body, right? Like here, it is a historical place, it is a geographical place. How they concoct so many things. And Prabhupada said, yes, there are so many commentaries, bogus commentaries are there, and I want to give this Bhagavad Gita as it is. He wrote this beautiful manuscript, and then he was waiting for somebody, to print it. He was trying, and he was sending all of his disciples to print, but somehow they were not successful. And then one day he saw that, Brahmananda Prabhu was there, and he said, oh, Brahmananda, can you do it? And they said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, right, with your blessings. And then, but still he didn't know how to do it. And one day they saw that there is a request that has come for a record, right, from the Macmillan publishers. And they were very happy. And when the devotees told Srila Prabhupada, oh, there is a request from Macmillan Publications, for our record. Prabhupada said, yes, that's very good. Now you go and take this manuscript and you offer it to them and they will publish it. They will publish it. And Brahmananda Prabhu was also very happy, yes, this is a great opportunity for us now and to bring this Bhagavad Gita and it can be really distributed and a lot of lives are going to be transformed by taking this book. And he went there and he found out what? It was not from some big CEO of the Macmillan publisher or CEO, but it was just a simple clerk who was in charge, and he got this advertisement and he just ordered it. And Brahmananda Prabhu, as expected, he was really very discontented, he was not happy, and he was very sad. I'm not able to fulfill the instruction of my spiritual master. And then, but still, he thought that, okay, Srila Prabhupada has said that, go and they will publish it, right? He had that faith, Prabhupada said, the qualification of my disciple, the only qualification of my disciple is that they really trust my words, they really trust my instructions. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chintita. And he was just, trying to speak to that clerk that, yeah, my spiritual master, Swamiji, has really, written this beautiful Bhagavad Gita. Why don't you publish it? He said, I don't know, like, and then there was this conversation going on, and there's this editor of this book house, right, he was just passing by and he heard something, Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Bhagavad Gita? Oh, very nice, we are kind of really building up our spiritual, religious collection, and we have all the books except Bhagavad Gita. And right, and you see, like, this, like somebody might say that, oh, by chance it happened, oh, it's just a miracle. It's not a miracle, it's not by chance. And it's the arrangement of the Lord. That how Lord manifests each and everything through His devotees, through His different instruments. And sometimes, for our tiny mind, insignificant, consciousness, right? It might think that, oh, is it really possible? Can it really do it? But at that point of time, right, as Prabhupada says, right, especially quoting from that sloka, Devasayitmika Buddhi, Ekiha Purna, having that faith in the instruction of the spiritual master is really important. And once again, I was hearing from Prabhupada, from all these verses, some of the classes, he was saying that yes, people, kind of try to get that experience through the Dekhasuna. But for us, the most important realization is through hearing. By hearing from the spiritual master, by hearing from the scriptures, we get that faith to proceed. And Srila Prabhupada puts, one of the prerequisites, in studying this Bhagavad Gita. What was the prerequisites? This is that as we proceed, reading this Bhagavad Gita, at least theoretically, we should understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like in mathematics, right? Yes, sometimes, there are some theorems are there, like some geometrical theorems, like Pythagoras theorems and so on, right? Where we understand, right? Base square plus height square is equal to hypotenuse square, right? And all that, right? So sometimes initially, just remember the formula and then we apply the formulas and we go ahead. But then as we go progress, right? We prove that theorem as well. But in the beginning, yes, some of the concepts, some of the instructions, we might not be able to relate to it, right? But still, right, putting that faith that yes, we are hearing, from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this commentary is given by the pure devotee of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada. And having that faith in Guru and Krishna is really important for us. So, hearing about the prerequisites, we'll just spend a couple of minutes on this first verse. So yes, there are a lot of, I always say that, right? Prati sloke, prati akshare nana artha. A lot of our acharyas have given so much life lessons to it, so much meaning to it, but we can just touch one or two. How Dhritarashtra Vacha. Dhritarashtra said, what he said? Dharma Kshetre, in this place of pilgrimage. Which place of pilgrimage? This is Kurukshetra, the place of Kurukshetra. Samaveta, where they have assembled together. Why they have assembled? To fight. Yayutsavaha, to fight. Mamaka. Mamaka means mine. And Pandavaschaiva. And my sons and the son of Pandus. Kim Akurvata? Kim. What? Akurvata. What did they do? Oh Sanjaya. Prabhupada was saying in that class that it is just like asking, nice, beautiful dishes, delicious dishes are offered to, some gentleman, and then the other gentleman is okay. After being offered this delicious dishes, what did they do? What do you do? You just eat it. Right? So here, what is the meaning of this, question? What is the meaning of this sentence or this verse? Right? And why actually even a devotee also, should hear about Bhagavad Gita or, Prabhupada says also, why should we really now talk about some of the names of the Maharathis, right? Why is there, Gaudiya Vaishnava means, let's, go directly to 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and hear Panchadhyaya and so on. Why not? And Prabhupada saying that is the mentality of Sahajiyas. The actual mood of a devotee is that Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe. Whatever is related to Krishna, that should be our focus. Because yes, we are talking about this Mahabharata, right? This war, or we are talking about this, Dhritarashtra, right? Which really represents, demoniac mentality, or like, not only physical blindness but even spiritual blindness. So why should you really start Bhagavad Gita with some name which really represents blindness? Right? But then this really is important, and this is also purifying because it is related to Krishna. Because from this we are about to glorify Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna's instructions. And here we hear that Dharma Kshetre, Guru Kshetre. So what is the meaning of Dharma? What is the meaning of Dharma? Yes. What is the meaning of Dharma? Hindu Dharma. Somebody said Dharma is a duty. Dharma is the law. Dharma is the religion. What is the meaning of dharma?
Some rituals we have to practice.
Some rituals, okay, that we have to practice.
Right thing.
Hmm?
Right thing.
Exactly, very beautiful thing, very beautiful thing. And the dharma means like the Sanskrit word, right? And this dharma comes from the root word called dhru. Dhru. And this dhru meaning is that to hold or to sustain, right? Like the property of water is what? And to flow. Is a transparency. Property of the fire, is heat and light. And this property of a human being, constitutional property of the human being, the intrinsic property of the human being, the right thing for a human being. That's why we see this Bhagavad Gita, right? Like, what is the right thing? The right thing, like, because see, the dharma of fire is different, the dharma of water is different. Right? So it really depends on the the object. It depends on what exactly we are talking about. So that is the reason. Sometimes we don't understand, why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, once he starts answering, he directly first talks about the soul, the identity, right? So dharma, we can really understand what is our dharma, first understanding our identity. That is the reason Lord speaks about our identity, how we are the soul. And the first lesson that he gives to the whole society. Because most of the times, not most of the times, all the times, for millions of lifetimes, we have identified ourselves as the body, as the mind, as the senses. We feel that we will be happy by taking care of this case, not the parrot, which is there inside that case. It's a so valuable thing that to understand even this meaning of the word dharma, right? Because this word meaning of dharma is also so much polluted, contaminated. But yes, this is the first and most important thing that Lord is trying to teach us. And this place of Kurukshetra, yes, it is a very pious place, because yes, it comes from this king Kuru, because he had performed so much sacrifice, and Indra had really given that benediction. So whoever lives from this place, they will attain the heavenly abode. And even like Mudgala Rishi, Prithu Maharaj, and a lot of kings, they had performed so much of pious activities there. And here, one more question, right? We might ask, Samaveta Yuyutsava, fighting. They have all come together to fight. They have all come together to fight. Is it now then Krishna in this Bhagavad Gita is trying to encourage Arjuna to fight? Is this the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Like we see that, right? People say that, right? Because Arjuna was not willing to fight, Krishna encouraged Arjuna to fight. What do you think? What do you think? If somebody wants to incite to fight, then you have to arise some anger in that person. And anger means what? You have to say, remind what the negative things he had done, like the other party had done. Like then, Krishna, like in Bhagavad Gita, he should have told about, do you remember? Right? Like, how, they had given poison to Bhima. Do you remember that Lakshagraha, how they had poisoned? Oh, Arjuna, do you remember that Asat Sabha, that Draupadi Vastrahan? Just remembering that Asat Sabha, only their blood would have, really, they are the Kshatriyas. Right? Like just remembering that Draupadi Vastrahan, it would have really kind of boiled the blood of Arjuna, and he would not have thought of anything. Is it that's the, you are able to understand, right? What we are trying to say? That yes, Krishna is not, encouraging Arjuna, to fight. That's not the purpose. And on the other hand, in each of these, like chapters, you will find that one of the very important concepts Lord talks about samatvam, right? Tolerate, be equanimous, to Jaya, Ajaya, and all that, right? To be steady. Can a steady person fight? Right? Why it is so? Right? But what Lord Krishna is trying to say is, he's giving this context of the battlefield. Right? But the content is really to kind of how to bring steadiness into our mind. Because in that steadiness, we can really understand our identity. We can really understand what to be done. Because as we see currently, even in our last session only, right, Gita course on Sunday, somebody was asking why, Lord Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita in a battlefield, and how does it relevant to us? Because yes, Yutsava, they are, there to fight, and before that, Lord Krishna and Arjuna paused, to discuss this philosophical topic, because it is so important for all of us, because we are fighting. There is always battle happening, right? Between the good and bad, and this good and evil. And here, yes, Arjuna is fighting also the war, right? What exactly as a member of this Kuru dynasty he has to do? He has to protect these potential aggressors, and also he has to protect all the living entities, by killing, these aggressors, these potential aggressors, right? He was really fighting, right? And for all of us also, at any point of time, right? There is this question mark, what should we do? The decision box is always there, but this is moral, this is immoral, this is ethical, this is unethical, this is dharmic, this is adharmic, this is pleasing to Krishna, this is not pleasing to Krishna. There is always that choice point is there at every point of time. That's why one devotee was saying that, this our life is a segment of BD, it's a really fixed birth to death. BD. The segment is fixed, but in between we have a lot of C's. These are the choice points, right? And yes, our life may be really fixed, And one more devotee also has a very nice example that this life, right, is just like in a sentence, right? It can be compared to a sentence. If you are writing one sentence to somebody as an appreciation or something, right? You may write a long sentence, but without any meaning. It serve any purpose. Right? But if you just write one word or one, maybe just 3 letters, right? It has so much impact to it, right? So once again, this life, right? How to make it meaningful? How to make it purposeful, right? That's what this Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Right? Not just how to live and how to defeat and how to kill your opponents, right? It's not about that. How do we really bring meaning to our life? And one more lesson, that we can learn from this. That Srila Prabhupada talks about that how Dhritarashtra is talking about Mamaka Pandavas. He is the king of the Hastinapur. In that, like everybody is his praja, like his sons and also his brother's sons. Why then he is saying Mamaka Pandava? Tu me. Why he is talking about tu me? Because there is, he was so much diseased. Why he was diseased? You can maybe attribute to his name also, because it's Dhruta Rashtra. Dhruta means attached. That's what Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj he elaborates on this point. So Dhruta Rashtra means he was so much of attached to the kingdom. Either it should be with me or with my children, even if they are not qualified. Right? Even if I am not qualified, even if my children are not qualified. But yes, it should be with me. Right? And not to the righteous kings, not to the the dharmic persons. Right? This mood of jealousy, enviousness is the whole reason or the important reason that we have come back to this world. We have been here, right? Because we have this mood of comparison, this mood of complaining, this mood of jealousy or enviousness with each other. As long as we don't come out of it, And yes, it is very difficult, right? It's comparing. The other day, I think last Saturday only we were discussing, right? Because yes, we have so much of pride, we have so much of this ego, right? That really acts as like in a hard shell, right? For an oyster. Oyster is very soft, right? And this hard shell of an oyster really gives that protection. And for us also, if somebody says that no, 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 we are just meant to serve, right? Which is our dharma. That is our dharma is to serve. Dharma, And by the way, like last Sunday on this Gita course, one girl, right, like asked a very beautiful question, right? And she asked that like in this chapter also we talked about Krishna as a Bhakta Vatsala. And then she's such a small girl, right? Like maybe she must be around 8 or 10 years old. She asked that, why, what Lord Krishna is teaching us, by really acting as a Bhakta Vatsala or being a charioteer. Right? I was really, amazed. What he is trying to teach, Lord is trying to teach that yes, there is so much of pleasure, there is so much of treasure in serving, right? And the Lord, He wants to serve His devotees. That's why He becomes a Bhakta Vatsala. Right? Yes, our dharma is to really, serve, but somehow or other, because of our pride, because of our ego, because of our this misidentification with the body, mind, and senses, we really want to enjoy more and more. Everything should be aham or mama. Everything is concentrated on this surfaceness or extended selfishness. And yes, it is very difficult to grow. Right? If you really take out the covering, right, that oyster inside will feel very unprotected and undressed. Right? But if it gets really a bigger shelter, right, more stronger shelter, would you really feel uncovered, undressed? No. Right? That's Acharya is saying that yes, we have to realize this strong umbrella that Lord Krishna is giving it to us. This huge umbrella, that Srila Prabhupada is giving us. And he says, we have created a big house where the whole world can live in. Right? But somehow or other, we are trying to go away from that house. We are trying to go away from the umbrella. We are trying to go away from that strong, right, secured, luxurious, shelter that Lord Krishna has given, Prabhupada has given, and away from that and trying to just stay in the hut. Oh, this is a nice, I have got some shelter. So here, yes, it is the disease, that Dhritarashtra is showing here. He's saying that yes, Mamaka Pandavas Seva. Yes, he's asking that question why they are doing. Why? Because he's having, Prabhupada saying that he's having fearful. Why is fearful? Oh, is it that because of the influence of this Kurukshetra, this piety, place of piety, whether my sons, if they would renounce everything and they will compromise with the Pandavas, or Dhritarashtra, and sometimes also getting very hopeful. Oh, maybe because of the influence of this, so pious place, maybe Pandavas will renounce and they will give everything to my children. Or sometimes, it's also a little doubtful, right? Oh, because this influence of this Kurukshetra, which is so pious place, whether the outcome of this war, will get really be influenced because of the piety, right? And this is really shows, right, how the mind of this crooked thoughts or crooked nature really, you really analyze too much, like you really, take shelter of so many things, because you are not taking shelter of Krishna. But what is the mood of Yudhishthira? Some of you might have, known the story that how the Yaksha really came into, right, ask different questions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and all his brother had somehow unconsciousness to take the water from that lake. And finally, when Yudhishthira answered all the questions, right, and the Yaksha was very happy, and he said, okay, what can I do for you? Right, and he said, okay, if you want to do something for me, yes, you can really, right, do something for my brothers. Then the Yaksha said, yes, I'll really give life to one of your brother. Who would be that? And what he said? Nakula. Why? You should take your own brother like Bhima and Arjuna, because they are your own brothers. And Nakula and Sahadeva, they are your Madri's sons. But he just said, no, I am the son of Kunti, and I want to have one son of Madri. He was not thinking this is mine, this is my stepmother's son, or the other pastime, right? When they were in that exile, and then on the Gandharvas attacked, Kauravas, right? What happened at that point of time? Yes, Yudhishthira asked, yes, for everybody else, we are 105, right? And let's go and fight the Gandharvas. Let's protect our Kuru dynasty. Right? What is the mood of Yudhishthira? And what is the mood of Duryodhana? Right? That's why there is always in our heart, there is this good dog and bad dog, always barking. And which one barks the loudest? Which one barks the loudest? The one that we feed the most. And like as we said earlier, like we have so many choices at every point of our life, and it's really up to us, how each and every point of time we are really feeding our good dog. And how do you feed our good dog? Yes, by every day taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita, by every day taking shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Yes, it's an everyday exercise. It's not just a one day. Every day we have to come together. Every day we have to offer our heart at the lotus feet of Gandharva Giridhari Mahaprabhu Prabhupada, by daily taking shelter of the holy name, by regularly reading, this Bhagavad Gita, and that way we can really feed and we become stronger, and then we can take stronger decisions in our life. And then all this, hard-heartedness, what is the quality of hard-heartedness? Like this selfishness, this greediness, this lusty desire, anger, slowly go away. Because our purpose, is to make our heart soft. So we have to use more and more softener. Like chapati बनाते हैं, थोड़ा सा दो को गोल गोल की थोड़ा सा हल्का बनाते हैं, to make it softer. So similarly, जब तक हमारा heart hard है with all this enviousness, jealousy, and all these negative qualities, our heart will be hard. And definitely Lord, He is Makhan Chor. Makhan means it has to be soft. Lord will not come to our heart with our hard-heartedness. We have to make our heart soft by transforming those negative qualities, by transforming these negative qualities into positive qualities, divine qualities. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any one or two questions or comments before we wrap up? Any thoughts?
When we are studying Bhagavad Gita, we try to learn so many lessons.
Yes.
But when it comes to application, very often we see that we are not able to apply those learnings. So, how to bridge this gap?
Prabhuji asked a very beautiful question. It's really for us, right? Like, okay, you are speaking so many big instructions. Yes, we should make our heart like a butter. We have to transform our life. But are you really applying it? Yes, like it's a long process. It's like yes, which has been really dirty for ages and for millions of lifetimes. Right? It might be difficult in the beginning, and it might not be palatable in the beginning, and we might not be able to do so. But then Lord is saying that at least once you hear again and again and again, right? Lord is saying that Srunatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtan Krudi Antastahi Avhadrani Vidhunoti Suru Sadam. Right? Yasyam Vaisruya Manayam Krishna Parama Purusha Bhakti Utvadade Pumsam Soka Moho Bhayata. By hearing this sound vibration with faith, with submission. That's what Acharya is saying. Humble, submissive oral reception is the first qualification, to achieve this bhakti, to achieve the devotional service. Yes, once we come together in the association of the devotees and hear again and again and again, yes, the cleaning will start. We'll be able to realize, because as long as it is covered, right, neither we know this is right or wrong, nor we have strength to go in the right direction. But then, once we are hearing again and again, right, then we get the light. Then we get this light. Oh, this is right and wrong. And then not only we get this light, but also we get the strength to follow in the right direction. Right? Like in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks and gives the analogy of knowledge, as a sword. We get the sword of knowledge, right, to cut all the ignorance. And also, Lord gives us the strength to hold the sword also. Yes, Lord is saying, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Right? Yes, Lord will give us the intelligence, right, to understand what is the right thing. Lord gives us the discriminatory power. Not only discrimination power, Lord gives us the determination also, to follow the right thing. What really Lord looking forward is the sincerity. Right? Yes. We might say that, okay, the amount of application that the amount like Hanuman is serving or squirrel is serving. Right? Yes, what Lord is saying that, to the best of our capacity or capability, how much I am serving. But at least, go, right? Try to put that endeavor, try to be sincere. And it's just a matter of time. Srunatam Swadhya Nityam Grunta Swachashtitam Kalina Nati Dirghena Shrudi, right? Yes. Kalina Nati Dirghena. It's just a matter of time. So, what is really Lord is asking is that Srunatam Swadhya Nityam Grunatam Swachashtitam. Yes. We should hear regularly, submissively, from the scriptures, from the spiritual master, and Grunatam Swachashtitam, as far as possible, to the best of our capability. Let's continue to put that effort. What is that effort? Yes, a simple seva, chanting the holy name, reading the scriptures, following the sadachar, serving the Vaishnavas. Just simple things. Lord is not asking us to do big things. Yes, we start small, then Lord will take us further. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Once again, I would really thank Sri Prabhu for inspiring, encouraging, and pushing us right, to do this. I know it's not easy, especially on a working day, come together, but definitely this is a wonderful beginning. And I really pray at the Lotus Feet of Mandir Giridhari Mahaprabhu, Lord Nrsimhadev Panchatattva, Srila Prabhupada, and our Guru Parampara, to give us the strength so that we can continue this, and not only continue but enthusiastically continue reading and hearing, Srimad Bhagavad Gita every weekday evening. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Gaur.
HG Sudhir Prabhuji ki
Jai. Really delayed coming from the office. So I came from the office. Just with a little bit stressed. Fighting the traffic.